Unpopular opinion. Diamond hands are costing you shares, not protecting them, costing them. Here's what I mean. Think about the last time Tesla dropped 40%. You watched it happen. Your account went from exciting to painful in a matter of days. And somewhere in there, you had the thought, this is where I should be buying. But you couldn't. You checked your cash, nothing there, already committed. Been that way for a while. So the drop happened, then recovery happened, and you ended up with the same exact number of shares you started with. You survived the volatility, but you didn't use it. That's what I want to talk about today. Quick note before we go further, I'm sharing a framework here, not advice for your specific situation. Everyone's tax situation, risk tolerance, and goals are different. What you do with this is up to you. Now, look, if you're watching this, you've already done something most people couldn't. You held Tesla through 2022, a 75% drawdown. Your friends thought you were nuts. Advisors told you to diversify, but you didn't sell. That took real conviction. I'm not here to say that was wrong, but here's something I didn't understand at first. After a certain point, holding isn't the hard part anymore. You've already proved you can do that. The harder question is whether just holding is the best use of a stock this volatile. And that's where the noise comes in. There are two different kinds of noise around Tesla. Both mess with your head. First is Wall Street. When Tesla runs, analysts love it. Price targets go up. They find new reasons to sound smart. When Tesla falls, they flip. They'll say margins, competition, Elon's politics. Pick a narrative. They're not predicting anything. They're reacting to price and calling it insight. The second kind of noise is trickier. It's us, the Tesla community. When Diamond Hands memes peak, such as never sell is everywhere, when your timeline is rocket emojis and screenshots of the stock, that feels like conviction, but it's often a sign we're near elevated prices, not because the long term story is wrong, because crowd enthusiasm tends to peak near highs. So flip it around. When longtime holders start texting, maybe this time is different. When group chats go quiet, that's often closer to a bottom. The mood itself is information. Most people don't use it that way. So here's the reframe. Trimming isn't selling, not in the way people mean it. When I say trim, I mean small, really small. Some people use a number like 20%, maybe less. You're not taking profits, you're not abandoning the thesis, you're creating flexibility. So if the stock drops later, you could potentially buy more shares. Think about it. Selling a little at emotional highs so you can add at the emotional lows could mean more shares over time. That's not weak hands. You could argue it's more bullish than just holding. This isn't a system, there's no formula. Tesla ignores technicals for months, respects them for a week, then ignores them again. This is feel, sentiment, reading the room. You're not catching tops, you're not nailing bottoms. You're skimming a little when things feel perfect, adding a little when things feel broken. One thing to keep in mind, trimming creates a taxable event if it's not in a retirement account. Depending on your holding period and tax situation, that changes the math. Something to think through before you act. Now, trimming is actually the easier part. When everyone's euphoric, when Wall Street raises targets into strength, when your uncle asks about Tesla at Thanksgiving, that's the kind of environment where some people consider taking a small slice off. It should feel uncomfortable. If it feels easy to sell, you might have waited too long. But if you're wrong and the stock keeps running, you're still heavily invested. The regret is survivable. The buy side is harder. You trim correctly, stock was at 400, you sold a little, now it's at 350 and dropping. Part of your brain goes, I nailed it, time to get back in. And that's the trap. That's how people burn cash on false bottoms or dead cat bounces. Tesla doesn't do clean pullbacks. It drops 10, 15, rallies 8, drops 20 more. The moves last longer than feels reasonable. What some people wait for is real fear. I've seen people talk about waiting for 20% or more, and they call that capitulation. When the vibe shifts from buy the dip to how low can it go, that's when it might be worth paying attention. Here's the part I wish someone told me earlier. The psychology of this is brutal. When you trim at highs, everyone else is celebrating. You feel disloyal. When you buy at lows, the stock keeps dropping. You feel stupid. Both reactions are normal. Both probably mean you're doing it right. If being contrarian felt good, everyone would do it. Sitting on cash while Tesla throws out rallies that might be the bottom, but probably aren't, takes more discipline than holding ever did. While holding is passive, what I'm talking about requires patience and action. Let me pull this together. You already did the hard thing. You held when everyone told you not to. But volatility is a resource and you might be letting it pass you by. If you're not using it to your advantage, you're missing out, in my opinion. Small trims when things feel frothy, add when fear takes over. Same conviction, but better execution. You could end up with more shares over time, cash ready when opportunities show up, and potentially less of that helpless feeling when the stock craters and you can't do anything but watch because you don't have any cash. There's a difference between a Teslanaire and a Rebellionaire. Teslanaire made money holding Tesla. That's real. Most people never got in. Rebellionaire figured out how to use the volatility, see through the noise from Wall Street and from our own community, potentially ends up with more shares while others just hold and hope. Same belief in where Tesla is going, different way of getting there. Next time diamond hands are everywhere and the mood feels bulletproof, you'll notice it. And the next time Tesla drops 40% and everyone panics, you won't be stuck watching. You'll be ready. That's the rebellion. If you found this video useful, be sure to like it and subscribe for more. We spend a lot of time talking about the things that don't end up on charts, sentiment, psychology, and how people actually behave when stocks get volatile. I'm Bradford Ferguson with Rebellionaire.com. And with that, I'll say bye for now.